Right, hello. I'm sorry I have not been active on social media very much over the last probably 2 months, actually, a month and a half, 2 months. It's not that we haven't been busy, we have been super busy. It's just that I have dedicated quite a lot of my time to doing a huge amount of work projects outside at the sanctuary. These are big projects. I spent 3 months of the year, early on in the year, applying for grants, and it took up a lot of my time. But we were successful in quite a few of those grants. So thanks to all the charities and trusts that have been supporting us in this way, we were able to increase the amount of facilities we have for both the hedgehogs and the volunteers. Focusing mainly on the volunteers, because we have had we've got a huge amount of people that help us, and over this past year we've also had a lot more people join us, which all make this possible. So thank you very much to all the volunteers, and thank you very much to all of the support that we've had from the grants and the applications that we have been successful for this year. So this is going to be a longer video than normal, just because I want to show you what I've been up to. A lot of it was just organising. I physically didn't do all this. I was organising. I did some of it, but I was organising other people. And also we've had a huge increase in corporate volunteer days. So these are so companies. When I used to work at a bank a long time ago, and you had corporate days, and you'd go karting and rock climbing and things like that. A lot of corporates now, corporate companies, they help local communities, small charities, community groups, things like that, which I think is much better, personally. But so what they'll do is they'll approach a load of charities, and then they'll ask the staff or the employees if they'd like to go and help various communities and charities. And I guess there's a list of different charities they have. And then this year we had a huge amount of companies, large companies, that contacted us to see if they'd like for a day come over and help us. And usually they can be anywhere from 5 to 70 people. I'm not joking, 70 people. So the amount of help that I've received this year, it increased substantially over previous years. So I took the opportunity to get a lot of things done that have been sitting for 10 years on my to-do list, and they have been completed. So I'm going to take you around to show you what's happened and what I've been doing. But I'll begin with as a small update. So obviously we are very busy with hedgehog rescues, and I haven't been posting videos on it, but we're in mid-October now, coming to the end of October, and we're still receiving hedgehogs. All of the hedgehogs in here are underweight small juvenile hedgehogs. So we don't have many injured hedgehogs at the moment. So these are small juvenile hedgehogs, underweight. As we come into winter, these are all like 150 grams, 200 grams. They can go up to about 300 grams, which is bad as we come into winter, because they need to be a certain weight to survive the hibernation process. And we do have other hedgehogs, not in the hospital, but outside an overwintering shed, which we've just moved from the shelters. So I'll take you around and show you what's been going on. So all of these hutches outside are empty now, as we come up, it's autumn, and we move the hedgehogs that are in rehabilitation from outside to inside, where it's nice and warm, heated and everything else. However, there is still one family of hedgehogs out here, and that is the mum and 4 hoglets. Now, Trish is the hedgehog. We didn't know Trish came in from a rescue. We didn't know Trish was pregnant, and she gave birth at Sanctuary. So I'm reluctant to move these just yet. I'm trying to hold on as long as possible so we don't disturb the family. But these will be moving. This whole family will be moving probably at the end of this month. So these are the only hedgehogs that are outside. So all of these are empty, and they're all going to be cleaned. So these were full of hedgehogs, but they're all going to be cleaned. And then in the spring, probably, they'll all be revarnished. So this is no longer used anymore. Along with this facility, which is a tuck shop, this is no longer going to be used. So this is just the outside shed we use for cleaning bowls, the bedding, the food stored in here as well. So this is on my project list in the future, not an important one at the moment, to redo. It's just a shed, so it needs to be a bit, there's loads of holes everywhere, and I know the window's open, the door's open there, but this is something I'm going to be doing probably next year or the year after. Just making it nice. It's a bit, the problem is, because there's a lot of sheds that I've repurposed, and all the entrances are really small, so everyone keeps hitting their head on the top, which is not very good, apart from Margaret, of course. Right, out you come, Fern. Fern, hey! So this is our the overwintering facility. This is where the hedgehogs are in rehabilitation over the winter months. It's a shorter time of the year that they're in here. So this is the overwintering hog hotel. And this building, along with all of the facilities actually, have been painted by corporate volunteers. Brilliant, and they've done an amazing job. So they're all ready for winter. Every single building we've got here, every single facility, it's all wood. Everything's wood everywhere. It's all nicely painted, ready for winter. So I can show you in here. So we had a big release this week. So a lot of the hedgehogs were released back into the wild. But we still have a few that have recently come in here. This is the overwintering shed. So similar to the outside rehabilitation shelter. It's got a sink for washing up bowls. And then the hedgehog, it's insulated, this building. And it's also got heating. And this is where the hedgehogs are overwintered. So this will be full. It's not full at the moment. It will be full over winter. It always is. And this is where we keep the newspapers and towels, which I believe have all been very kindly cut and folded by volunteers. I need to get some more hay in here, which means I'm going to be stung by wasps. Lovely. But yes, so this week, this was just started to be used. There we go. Although we don't have anything valuable here, but the hedgehogs are valuable. One of the hedgehogs patrols at night. So this is one of the newer facilities this year. It's our creative hog workshop. This one we have a plaque on. Unfortunately, we don't have plaques on a lot of the facilities that were paid for by grants, very kind grants, but this one we do have a plaque on. And this is for the volunteers, so we use multi-purpose for crafters. So we have, I'll show you in a minute, shop. We have a lot of crafting ladies, a lovely group. There's a lot of them. I'm not involved in it directly. They kind of organise themselves, and they make a huge amount of crafts, hedgehog-related themed crafts, that we sell at stalls and events. That is a chaise longue. I was forced to put it in there, but the volunteers, they said they want a nice seat in here, so they've got a lovely seat in here. Again, that's Margaret. In here we do have basic facilities, so they've got their own sort of kitchenette and a little sink. And this is the office. So there's a lovely volunteer called Lorraine, and she comes and helps with website shop related things like that. So this is where Lorraine is. And then we have all kinds of boxes, and these were actually given to me by someone in Harpenden. They were renovating a house, and these are the 1960s. These are really cool, I think. But anyway, they had loads of these that they didn't want, so I collected them, and they been repurposed, and I think they're fantastic. And then we have the crafting table here. I won't get too close to the wall there because there's lots of letters on the wall, and they've got people's personal information on them. But yeah, we have the table here where the crafters meet up and they can craft and make things. So, and then there's a few bits and bobs on here as well. And this is where I kind of keep the certificates as well, various certificates, that first aid and whatnot. And, I don't know, hedgehog ecology. Various letters. So the public probably won't ever see this, but this is for the volunteers. Okay, so this used to be where the office was here. It's a really small room, and it used to be where the office desk was here and all that kind of stuff. And then all of this is all stall related stuff. So when we do stalls and events, over the years I've accumulated things to help us at stalls and events, particularly tables, gazebos, and various covers for tables, chairs, all that kind of stuff. So this is all stall related or event related stuff. In the past, this was spread everywhere, and I had to literally drive a car to go and pick different places up. So now it's all contained in one place, which is amazing. So I can just literally pull the car up here and take everything out. So it's not very interesting, but this is a really, really nice thing to have. So that's that. And this is the Hogs gift shop. I'm just showing you this. This has been here for some time. This has moved various locations, but this has been here for some time. So this is where all the lovely crafters make lovely gifts. Look at it all. We've got so much stuff in here, all hedgehog themed. Look at the cards. A lot of the things are not on the shelves that we usually sell at stalls and events because, and there's a big pile here, because last night we were at Farbrew Brewery. We were invited there for an event they had there. So it's not as organised as it normally is because it was very late last night and I just put everything here because it was dark. But yeah, it's the shop. And then there's a little bit of an extension here. This is really, really nice. So a lot of the facilities we have were directly open to the elements. The wind would just come straight in through all of the doors here. So we have an overhang now, which is huge. So none of this area gets wet, which is fantastic. The volunteers will also sit out here as well. But the main purpose was because the rain literally just went straight in, because it comes from always the rain comes 95% of the time comes from the south, this direction, and it's normally horizontal. It doesn't rain down like that because of the wind. We have so much wind, it just blows straight in here. So this is really, really big. So that's fantastic. That's that. And also, all of the roads and paths have been laid. This is thanks to corporate volunteers days, and they've all had granite chippings put on them, so they look amazing. All of them. This is a volunteer car park area, but this goes on for a long way. So there was quite a lot of this, all very kindly laid by corporate volunteer days. It goes down there, and then this is the education centre, which there's not much that happened to that this year, apart from a beam was put in here because the wind was blowing, because it's open, the wind was blowing, it gets very windy, it just gets so windy. Wind is blowing straight in here, that's why it's all kind of got open slats at the back to let the wind out. And the roof has got a long span, so it's just flapping in the wind, so we've strengthened that up to make sure that doesn't happen. And then there is going to be a little path that goes from there, around here, in here, and this is the gift shop. So that's for when we have educational talks for children's groups, Beavers, Cub Scouts, Rainbows, schools. And it is wet because it's muddy here. They'll be able to walk through there without mud going everywhere. And then that door there, it goes into the woods. So when I do educational talks for children's groups, there's various activities that they do. One of the things, we go into the woods and we talk about hedgehog habitats, hedgehog houses and things like that. It's like I got a little wood in their sanctuary, so that's that. All of these buildings have been very kindly painted, ready for winter as well. So there's a little shed in here. This used to be where the tools were. We stopped using this, mainly because that's why we got another grant. Mainly because it's very small, but also because it has a step to get up into it, so it limits people with wheelchair bound, especially, access to the tools. So it's not, the volunteers won't go in. It's more of a storage shed now. This is all being repainted as well, so looking fantastic. This is the original shop, so well, actually not the original one, there's one before that, but this door here I used to open up like that, and then all the shop items were in there. Had a very low ceiling, like you couldn't stand in there really, you had to bend, which is an old field shelter. So at some point in the time, goats or sheep would have been in there. There's that. And I have put signs up everywhere. to try and slow people down. So this is quite a big, the sanctuary, it's over 10 acres, and the track roads, they do go for a fair distance. So you can drive quite fast if you want to. The problem is there's children, there's animals and the rest of it. So there's signs up now, 5 miles an hour. But I'm not going to show you the whole track road. But this was all relayed by corporate day volunteers. It goes all the way down there, and then again right around the corner there. So fantastic job, and it looks really nice now. And actually this stuff here is really nice to walk on, whereas the previous material was quite lumpy, hard, rocky, difficult to walk on. So this is really nice. And especially if you're wheelchair bound, this material is really nice to push yourself along on. That one that was there before was horrendous, to be honest with you. It was quite jumpy and rough. But this was the last area that hadn't been smoothed off, I guess you could say. So it's a big thing. It's quite nice. So this, all the buildings, again, all the fences have all been painted by kind volunteers. This is where there's just paints and things in here. So there's paints and I think there's some oils for some of the lawnmowers and things, but mainly paints and sprays. But there's a lovely new metal roof put on it. So the roofing was leaking in here, which is fantastic. And then this has had, this is like a walkway, I guess. The walk goes into, there's a bluebell wood in the springtime. This is like a walkway into it, but it did have a dilapidated roof on there, so that's been sorted. It goes in there, and then this also, this is a small tool shed for the volunteers. And this has a lovely double door put on there again. All these, a lot of these sheds, they had no doors on them. A lot of them were open. So things like this is like a huge improvement. But yeah, this one's got nice roofing on. I can't show you. Maybe I'll do some other posts exactly what's been going on here, but that's locked up. But there we go. So that's all sorted. So this is a renewed facility for our volunteers. I won't take you in this bit of a mess in there, but this is a new facility for them. So a lot of volunteers come here, they'll make stuff, craft items, they'll build hedgehog houses, they'll do maintenance work outside, and there's like some basic tools, there's benches in there, and some basic tools like spades and things like that, saws, and that will be used all year round. So this is nice. It's all got nice metal roofing, which is fantastic. Originally it had plastic roofing on there, which was horrendous, didn't last very long. So there's that. And I might as well send some here, take you over here. So this is the building yard. Not very exciting. So this is all new, lovely new doors. 10 years this has been open, an open cavity, and it now has barn doors on there. Huge. This is like really nice. There isn't anything exciting in here again. Oh god, hang on me. It's just where, so we have some lovely builders that will donate stuff to us, materials, wood, all kinds of stuff really, metal, pipes, ladders, all kinds of stuff. But it's just basically materials. There's fencing stuff, repairs of fencing, and this is where we store all those bits. So it's a lot of fencing related stuff, to be honest with you. And then boards, ply boards, some old doors. These have been here so long. Some of these doors, there was some big stately home in Harpenden. Oh, these ones here, these are oak. Big stately home in Harpenden, and they were throwing all these doors out. And I thought, what, this is oak? So I've never used them, but they're there. I'm sure at some point they'll have a purpose, but yeah. And then this came from a house in Harpenden. These are Victorian. So in the roofs of houses, they They used to put pine boards, and then on top of the pine boards they put slates and stuff. So, but this pine is really nice. Got loads of those pines and stuff. They will have a purpose. They've been used in various hedgehog houses, but they do have a purpose, and in time there will be a use for them. But yes, so this is old fencing. So this is everywhere at the sanctuary. Over the years, I've been trying to take it down. There might be use for it in the future, but there's plastic. The problem is it's all plastic. It's plastic fencing, and it will last forever. But it gets buried once it hits the ground. It gets buried under the ground. And because it's plastic, it will be there forever. Metal's different. Metal will, if it gets buried eventually, it will just disappear. But plastic's pain. So I've been trying to remove all the plastic and replace everything with metal fencing. Environmental, but actually metal fencing is much nicer as well. But yeah, so that's that really. Lots of bits of old wood here. Beautiful oak again. They've been here for like 10 years. This is off a Tudor house. See, again, you know, someone's doing a renovation. They're taking this out. It's unbelievable, really, but that's really nice. So, the Corporate Day volunteers have all helped move lots of wood chippings for the paths here as well. We're coming into the Fog Royal Inns area, and these paths go all around this pen where the hospital is over there. And this was quite a big project this year. We had a tree fall down, or several actually. This willow, they're not very strong. Lots of branches cracked off. And they fell down this way. So these are the hog gardens. There's 8 of them. And unfortunately, because they were all damaged by the trees, all of the fencing around the edge was also not very strong, so it's all been strengthened. We've put in who did this? This is the very nice group, Kimpton Bench Party. They came over for a day and they put all these posts in all around the edges here. And we've had it, so there was a trench dug all the way around the outside. And a lot of this was corporate volunteer days. And then cement was put down in the trench. And on top of that, we've had some topsoil put on. So you can still see the cement when you walk into the actual gardens, but not around the edges. So there is a little bit more work to do. Some of the doors need fixing, like this one here. So if anyone is handy with a bit of woodwork, all of these, there's 2 or 3, 1, 2, 3 doors that need fixing or figuring a way to make a bit more solid. It's just the wind, because it gets so windy up here. But these are all ready for spring next year now. So but this is quite large. There's a lot of work involved in this, but these are solid now, absolutely solid. So that's a really big project maintenance work that was done this year. So this year the entire of the outside hedgehog friendly garden was maintained, cleared in some place. It was overgrown. New ponds were put in, log piles. A lot of the elders were chopped down. The problem with the elders, they're really weak. So when they get too big, they just end up falling over. So you really want to, if you want to keep them a long time, you kind of need to lock the top of them. But and we had lots of new ponds put in. They're just plastic tubs really, but they've been put in there. And the paths that were all redone with wood chippings as well. And there's a lot of paths. So these were mainly corporate days volunteers that did this, especially all of the garden area. So thank you very much for that. We've also sorted out a 1,000 litre water butt, finally, all nicely done, nice sheet over it, because the water goes green if sunlight comes to it, so the sheet over there. And then the idea is the rain water would pile straight into there, but it's full at the moment. So and then over here, this is a problem. So this is one of the hay storage buildings, and the whole year we had wasps in there, the whole year, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get in. So it's pain to get bales of hay out really, and so I need to do something with that next year. And even still, we're in look at that, we're in end of October and they're still in there. The nests in there are huge. It is a problem because I have to go in there. So I do get stung, which is not very nice. So one of the volunteers called Angus, who's been helping out a huge amount this year, has been helping to maintain various gardens which we use for the hedgehogs. This is one of them. So this was totally overgrown. This is a good time of the year to actually show this, because most things are not green, so all the leaves are falling off. But this was, you couldn't walk through here. We had corporate days to help clear the sort of the bulk of it, and then Angus is maintaining this now. But you couldn't walk in here. This was just brambles and whatnot. And it's an enclosed garden. It's got a Harris fence on it. And so, like over here, this is another one, which we use for soft release pens in here. Again, it's got a fence all the way around it. So the hedgehog, the idea is in spring, the hedgehogs come here temporarily before they're being released back into the wild, just to make sure they're doing hedgehoggy things, hibernating, foraging for food, and obviously not coming out during the day. So this was also maintained. It's a lot clearer here. It's just making sure that we can get to all the areas, really. So yes, this particular one, quite large. It's probably, well, easily the size of a normal sort of garden, I guess you'd say. But all the edges, of course, we've kept all the trees, and all the brambles will be kept along the boundaries of the hedge rows, as it were, for each of the gardens. I think there's 6 or 7 pens like this here at the sanctuary. So over the years we have planted hedgerows. It was over a 4-year span, I think, and in total I think 6,500 saplings have been planted at the sanctuary. They're all along hedgerows, fencing, where there's like field fencing. Then on one side there's a hedge. So, and they're at various stages of growth, and this particular hedge is actually at a really good stage now. Next year this will be the top of the fence line, and it will start looking really thick. The idea is, so they were cut right at the base to thicken up at the base, so the whole hedge is thick, rather than it being sort of empty and vacant at the bottom. The whole thing is going to be a thick hedge. And if we go over this side, you'll see they've all just been cut, actually, the tops of them. These various, we've got maple, blackthorn, hawthorn, hazel, all mixed in. So that's going to look absolutely amazing and provide some superb habitats for wildlife. I would imagine in total there's probably going to be over 2,000 metres of new hedgerows, probably more actually, that have been planted. So that's 2,000 metres of habitats for wildlife. It's quite a lot. So that's really cool. So this year, this is the last facility that's going to be renewed. This is the, well, it is the bulk. It's a toilet facility. There's a ramp going up here as well. When I did this, the outside of this, there wasn't a lot of money, so I had to kind of get the cheapest material that I could, which was, in fact, I think I might have paid for these. Yeah, I think I did. Was this like tarmac, bitumen, sorry, roofing for the sides. It looks ugly, whatever, but it did work. So they're going to be finally taken off, and it's going to be cladded. Thank you very much. That's from a grant, by the way. So that's all going to be looking really nice and much better. These bow, when the sun hits it, they all start bowing and stuff. They're not great. And the floor is going to be sorted out as well. It's not the most glamorous of places, but it's outside, so there is no door and things like that. So it's not that it gets dirty because of mud. That's not because it's dirty because it's a dirty toilet. It's just mud. Everyone walks in with boots. So all of this floor is going to be sorted out as well. So that's and then all this will be titivated. So it's going to look very nice. Thank you very much to the kind support that we have had. So it's all going to look very nice in here. It's functional, but it doesn't look very nice. So that's all going to be sorted. So we have some nice flooring in here. It'll be wooden flooring, which is much nicer. And then I'm going to sort out, there's an overhang here, sort that out. There's all solar lighting. I use solar lighting outside everywhere. So yeah, that's the last thing this year that is going to be done. So that'd be really nice. And so there's a path that comes up behind here. This is Stinger's path. And this path here, of course, full of stinging nettles on both sides. There is a hedgerow that has been planted here. It will take a few years for that to grow. But this is where the volunteers and children's groups and schools, kids like that, this is where they will sit and wait while they're waiting for all of the children to be dropped off or work to begin for like volunteers. It's a really nice spot here, and that looks over, it's the south down there, over the fields down there.